And for so many of us, becoming pro-life is a journey. And I myself remember I was in my Volkswagen van with the peace signs and the flowers, and on my radio it came over, 1973, abortion was made legal in Roe versus Wade, and the companion decision made the same day, Doe versus Bolton, through 9 months of pregnancy. Through all 9 months of pregnancy, abortion was legal in the United States. I remember hearing it. I was a nurse. I knew it was wrong. My soul knew it was wrong. I couldn't imagine how a mom could do that. But then I listened to the rhetoric. Back alley abortions, clothes hanger abortions. Women were dying in alleys having abortions. And so I didn't become outraged. I became sad. In my soul, I knew it was wrong. I didn't become outraged. I didn't become an activist. And I figured, I guess they do it, so should we make it safe for them to do it? And the answer to that is, of course, transparent now to all of us. It was supposed to be rare and safe, and then there was late-term abortions, and today there's infanticide. And when we lose respect for life at any stage, we lose respect for life.
Okay.
And so we have an increase in suicide amongst our, particularly amongst our teens. It increased again, 10%. That's another jump. So it's escalating all the time. We are now all over the country in proposed or passed legislation for euthanasia, assisted suicide for our elderly. We lost respect for the life within our own bodies, and so we lost respect for life. So let me tell you a little bit about John and the day I met him. And he became infused into my very soul. He's a part of me. It's like the fifth child. I say I have 4, but this is the baby of my heart. And one of the questions that somebody asked is, was John the only child? Did you quit that day? Did you walk out? And I was sure I would have. And actually I was sure I would be fired because I got written up already for mismanaging my time and spending so much time with this, with the abortion with John. So I was sure I was going to be fired anyway, but no, I didn't quit. And I guess it was the Holy Spirit that was directing me. Be the voice. Be the voice. And it was the most difficult thing, going back there all the time and baptizing other children, watching other children. Let me tell you what happens in an abortion clinic too. Talked about what John experienced, just dying there over hours, a period of hours. And when I found him, the sound was something, that's what I was hearing. I thought it was a mouse when I first walked into that room. He was moving, little weak movements, but he was trying to go back into a fetal position for some warmth. You know how when we're cold, we snuggle ourselves, and that's what John was trying to do. That frail, weak, little dying baby. I wrapped him in the blanket. I gave him baptism. I'm a Roman Catholic. It's what I knew to do. I baptize you, John. I wouldn't know for 35 years why that name came. It was almost like I knew him. He was John. I do know that now, though. I baptize you, John. I held him. Mine were the only lips that kissed that child. Mine were the only hands that held him. Mine was the only voice that he would hear with love, lovingly, not discard him, not throw him away. And I spoke words that came to me after his baptism. I looked at him, I held him And I said, John, your mommy would not have done this to you if she could see you the way I do. She would not have done that. And so you see, that was God putting the first seed in my head, that you were to go out and tell those mommies. It's not a POC, product of conception, or, as they say in Planned Parenthood, parts of children, when they're being sarcastic. It's not a POC. It's not a blob of pregnancy chit-choo. It was John. It was a child. It was a boy. It was a life that ended all too soon. So I told him that your mommy wouldn't do it. I got called out. Marianne, you have a woman out there in labor. You need to do. So I kissed him. John, maybe I'll see you again. And I went out and I took care of my patients, did everything, and I came back and John was still breathing and still alive. Again, I picked him up and I said to him, just the words that came into my head, into my heart through the Holy Spirit. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I learned the message of forgiveness. Forgiveness. Christ spoke those very words from the cross. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. And I believe that so many women are going into these abortion clinics because they don't have alternatives. They're not given the alternatives. How we've struggled. Just, I couldn't get my ears pierced or anything without signing all the things that could happen. Abortions are they're just done, and women are not informed. They don't see their child on an ultrasound. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. And if there's any woman out here who is post-abortive, all you need to do is look at a crucifix in the arms of Christ outstretched. That's how much he loves you. And our message is one of love. I believe John's life, so short, was a life filled with love, because I felt his love and he felt mine, and that's the message I bring to you. So Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. And we spoke throughout the course of the night. I keep going in, and I was shocked that he was still alive.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't believe it. But the last thing I did say to him was, John, I will be your voice. I promise you. I'm going to tell the world what happened here tonight. And I met somebody before in Japanese. They were transcribing for me. Thank you so much. It says, you shall speak your words in foreign lands and all will understand. And I believe the voice of John has been shown throughout Europe and South America, across the country, and he speaks to so many people, and all will understand the voice of love, the voice of John. And he has touched so many lives in ways I didn't imagine. After the film, I got a call from a woman out in Texas, and the message of love and forgiveness that comes through this film, through this child, through the voice of John, is there for all of us, as is the voice of Christ and the love of Christ. And this woman from Texas saw my video. She could relate to Melissa Ogden, who was a woman who she herself had been aborted by saline. John was called a prostaglandin type abortion. Melissa was saline. And unlike Melissa, who's very, very beautiful, this young girl has so many of the scars of the saline. It burns. We used to call them the candy apple babies. They were bright red because they were so burned from the saline, the caustic saline solution. And this girl had a great deal of scarring from that procedure. And she said all her life, like, she was referred to as the ugly duckling. And kids, they can be cruel. They would make fun of her sometimes in school. And the one time, somebody said to her,
why do you look like that? What happened to you? And she said, the most painful moment of my life is when she said my mom tried to kill me by burning me when I was in her womb. And she said, I've lived my life hating my mother.
Oh my gosh.
I hated her for what she caused me, the pain. And she said, I heard the voice of John. And she said, for the first time, I've tasted the sweetness of forgiveness.
Amen.
So he has spoken to people across the nation, across the world, throughout the world, and he continues to. A message of love and forgiveness.